Hello, everyone. Today, I thought I would do a story time today. The story takes place when I was 13. I had just turned 13, and I was living up in Wichita at the time, in Hayesville. And I was at a point in my life where it was like when I first really started doing drugs, because before I moved up to Hayesville, I was your typical I'm never gonna do drugs type of kid. I'm never gonna smoke. I'm never gonna drink. I'm never gonna, average kid shit. And then I moved up to Hayesville during the summer of my 6th grade year, and so it was like 2015, somewhere around there. So my day started off how it usually did. At that time, I got up, I showered, I got dressed, and then I left my house. I took the 5-10 minute walk across town to this little grocery store, and I would go in there every single day, and I would take 2 boxes of Coricidins or Triple C's, depending on what they're called where you're from. I took 2 boxes. I walked out the store because I would steal them at the time because I was young as fuck, and with how much I was doing at the time, would be hella suspicious to just walk in there every day and buy a box. And I had no money. So I got the boxes, and I remembered I walked across the street over to McDonald's, and I met up with a couple of my buddies, and I remember I ordered a burger, and hold on. I ordered a burger and some fries. After I ate my food, I went into the bathroom. I opened up the boxes. I still can't believe I did this shit. I took 21 of them. And let me just put this in perspective for you. Back when I was doing this shit, I would like, even though this number is still absurd, I would always have a rule that if that I can't go over 18, because every time I would go past 18, I would fucking throw up and be like way too fucked up. But on this particular day, I took 21, like all at once, and I took them. I went back to sit at the booth, and then we ended up getting up, standing, like, here's the entrance to McDonald's, right? You come out, and then we walked that way a little bit, and we were standing by these columns, and I was just chilling. I had a can of dip, a pack of cigarettes. I think that's all I had at the time. We were chilling, and then we said, all right, we're all going to split up, blah, blah, blah. So we start walking down the street. I get down to a stoplight. This is like maybe not even 10, 15 minutes after I'd taken the pills, right? And I'm walking. We get to the stoplight. We push the little button to cross the street. And then I start crossing the street, and as soon as I get across the street, it just fucking hit me like a fucking brick wall. Like, what I can remember from that moment was, like, let me describe triple C's for you. Triple C's is like, it's like being high and drunk at the same time. Like but it's not exactly it's not necessarily exactly like being crossfaded, but it's like it's its own little feeling, man. But and it usually takes around 30 minutes to an hour before you like really start to feel anything. At this moment, it was like 15-20 minutes tops. And I remember walking next to my friend Alec, and I looked at him and I was like, dude, I need to sit down. Like, I don't feel so good, dude. And he looked at me and he's like, what? And I laid down in this random person's fucking yard. I ended up throwing up. I threw up all the food I had ate. It was fucking disgusting. I ended up blacking out. I remember just like, this is literally how it felt. And then like that's how time felt when I like just put my head down and closed my eyes. Like, all I did was literally put my head down, close my eyes for a second, open my eyes again, and then here comes a cop. Cop starts walking towards me, and he's asking me questions, and he's like, what are y'all doing? And I was like, I'm just here. I'm just waiting for a friend. Like, I was slurring the fuck out of my words. I could barely comprehend anything that was going on. And the cop told me to stand up. And when I stood up, the can of dip I had in my pocket fell out and hit the floor. And the cop was like pissing me off and shit, asking me stupid questions. He was like, what's that? And I was like, it's a can of dip. Are you fucking stupid? Like, I was mouthing off to the cop and shit. And long story short, he grabbed me like this and then like shoved me into like the back of some dude's fucking truck, and then started fucking fondling me and searching me. And he grabbed my dick, all this fucking unnecessary shit. And then I remembered that I had the pack of cigarettes in my pocket, and I was like I wasn't fucking, I was a kid, dude. Like, I was trying to avoid getting into more trouble, so I started reaching into my pocket, and he was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? And I was like, dude, I have a pack of cigarettes in my pocket. And he was like, well, don't be reaching, blah, blah, blah. And then he grabs my dick again, looking for other shit. Low-key think he was a fucking pedo, but, you know. From there on, and then, long story short, the fire department showed up, and there was the fire, like, I'm gonna point this out. The fire department were the only people that were nice to me. That whole fucking situation. Like, it was these Mexican firefighters. They wrapped my arm in the little thing where you push the thing and shit, and they were like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you can't be doing this to yourself. And, you know, just, you know, trying to like motivate me to do better and shit. And then the paramedics showed up with the ambulance and all this shit, and they had me in cuffs, and they told me, they were like, all right, we're taking you, we got to take you to the hospital. And like, it freaked me out because like, the only thing that I was worried about like the only reason I didn't want to go to the hospital is because, for one, I've been in that I was in that situation before. Like, that wasn't my first time overdosing. This is just like, this is the one story that I can tell you that is like the most memorable, and like, well, this is the most memorable overdose. But there's another story that I'm going to tell you later on that will either, it'll blow your fucking mind. You'll either think I'm crazy. You can tell me that it was just in my head, but trust me, that story's coming up. I'm chilling there, hands behind my back, and the cop tells me, "All right, we're going to the hospital." And I was like, "No, I don't," because, like I said, I've been through this before. Because when I was in the situation in the past, I would literally just go to sleep, even if I was like so fucked up to the point where I was having fever, sweating, whole body was fucking bright red, clearly overdosing. I would just go to sleep and then wake up a couple hours later feeling fine. So I was just wanting to do that. Like, before I blacked out in that person's yard, I was wanting to go home, but I was so fucked up, I couldn't leave that spot I was in. So I told the cops, I was like, "I'm not going to the hospital," because, for one, I didn't feel like I needed to, and for two, I knew how much fucking money it was going to cost my mom. Like, just the ambulance ride alone is like, what, $1,000? And yeah, so I told them, "No, I'm not going." And they said,
You're either going to the hospital or you're going to jail.
And my high, young, scared self was like, "All right, all right, all right, I'll go." And then I get in the ambulance, and this was like my peak, dude. So like with triple C's, you can't feel pain. So I used to like slap the shit out of myself, punch the shit out of myself, and I wouldn't feel shit. So like my whole face was numb, and I get in the ambulance, I'm chilling. We're sitting outside for like a while, and they end up calling my mom and telling her everything, blah blah blah. She shows up because she had to leave work for this shit, and so long story short, she shows up, and then I ended up finding out that she was there, and the fucking paramedics were like, "Tell your mom what happened." Even though I literally heard them 5 minutes ago talking on the phone, telling her everything, they still wanted to fucking humiliate me and make me, and like pretty much tell her the same story that they had already told her. And when I told her, she's like, "I know." And I was like,
"Why the fuck did I even have to say it?"
And then she leaves, and she ends up following the ambulance. I remember sitting there, and I was laying there, and there was this really cute fucking nurse behind me. She had to have been in like her early 20s, maybe late 20s, early 30s. I don't know. I was young as fuck back then, so a 20-year-old to me back then is like a 30, 40-year-old to me now at almost 20. So, but yeah, there was this cute ass nurse behind me, and I remember like looking around, and like I like looked behind me, and I saw her, and I was like, "Damn, she's cute," not realizing I said it out loud. That fucking shit was funny. I also remember, like, it literally felt like we weren't driving. Like, it literally felt like we were still at the same spot where they like came and got me. And like, I remember asking them multiple times. I was like, "Are we driving? Are we driving? Are we driving?" Fuck, I'm trying to remember. This shit was like 6 years ago, man. Yeah. I remember, like, you know that shit that they make you drink when you're overdosing, or when you're like got a fuck ton of drugs in your system, and charcoal. And you know how it's like supposed to like make you throw up, right? Like so they can like clear your system of all the shit that you got in your body and all that shit. Well, I drank it and I was so fucked up. I literally this was my response. This was my response. Hold on. Like they handed it to me and I was like, this is good, man. This is good.
What is this, chocolate milk?
And the paramedics were just like,
We've never had anybody describe it like that.
I think one of the paramedics behind me or whatever was like,
What the fuck is this kid on?
like they were shocked, like, because I don't think they've ever experienced a 13-year-old popping 21 pills and not being suicidal, doing it to get fucked up, having that mindset, like when I look back at this shit, it's like how did I do this shit? Like, how depressed was I at 13 to be popping pills every single fucking day at the level I was at? And I remember we got to the hospital and my mom and my friend Alec that I was with, he had to come with my mom, and we were sitting in the hospital room, and my friend Alec, he kept fucking with me. He would like tap the bottom of the bed like that, and I would literally be laying there like this. Who the fuck is doing that? And like, my mom was obviously pissed the fuck off at me, but she couldn't help but laugh. Like, she was trying so hard not to laugh her fucking ass off. And then, I ended up chilling in there for a few hours, and long story short, I get released, I go home, and, well, we're driving home, and remember that charcoal, what I was telling you about? How I said you're supposed to throw it up? I think you can guess what happened when I got out of the hospital. I shit myself. Yeah, I literally shit myself. I had all that charcoal sitting in my stomach, and I never threw it up. Because apparently it's supposed to taste like shit, but I was so fucked up, it didn't taste bad to me. It was good. I go home, I shit the rest of that charcoal out, and then I end up going to bed. And I was grounded for a few days. My mom, growing up, she didn't really like to punish us. I'm the oldest out of my family. I got 2 half sisters, and we never really got. I didn't grow up with a father, so because my dad died when I was 8, pretty much all I had growing up was my mom, my sister, and my grandma. That's pretty much it. And yeah. But that's pretty much my story on the time that I almost overdosed when I was 13. I hope you like it. I hope I told it well enough for you to watch. If YouTube doesn't turn my comments off when I post this, I want y'all to let me know if you like these storytime videos. It takes me a while to make them because, for one, some of these stories that I'm going to be telling you are from years and years and years and years and years and years ago. So I'm like really having to like piece together all the moments and shit. But yeah. We're gonna end this video off with a dab. Don't know if you can see it, but yeah. We're gonna end this video off with a dab.
I guess you got it. Boy, this makes me sick. So hard. Can't let a fall nigga get me. Can't let a fall be a cash. 9, 9, 9, yo. Tell my shit. Pull up with a nigga, I don't care. Hey, bitch, I see you there. You in the cut, you stop and scared. He say he gon' kill me, baby girl, I ain't never cared. I'm Houdini with these bitches, make them disappear. Hey, I get them out of here. Came in the club with a super soldier, nigga, no G.I. Joe. Feel like a giant, around these little ass niggas.